and they check their IDs. They might also want to give them a bit of a card, because should there be an upset win, not quite sure if some of these Valencia players would be eligible to crack one open to celebrate. Take a look at the starting lineup and lots of changes. 8 on Valencia. It's still going to be Jaume in goal. Other than Santos, Danilo, the other players that are jumping in here, along with Gaya, repeating from that 7-0 thrashing in the opening match. For Barcelona, Ter Stegen, Vidal, and Mathieu repeat, although Vidal moves from a right back to right wing, and Mathieu from a center back to left back. There are a lot of new faces and a lot to be proven here today by the players on the pitch. Not much for Barcelona, Ray. Almost definitely assured, bar a miracle of advancing. So what does Barca have to prove? What does Valencia have to prove?
Well, as we're looking even at the substitutes benches, Phil, it's a set of strangers to most casual observers of Spanish football, and even some of the loyal followers of both these great clubs. And both these coaches have got a lot to contend with in a quandary of decisions, but they'll be led by Negredo. He is the most experienced man out there, and there's a few others of sparky ability as well, and Piatti especially for Valencia. And they're still going to have a hell of a team to break down. And you look at Ter Stegen, one of the most highly regarded, and there's the man that's under pressure in no uncertain terms, but he has chosen to rest his team and basically throw up the white flag. They'll come out and fight. They'll have to, because this crowd, as sparse it is, it will let them hear if they don't wear their shirts with big pride. The youngsters of Valencia will. The Barcelona youngsters have done so time and time again, and it's an excellent Barcelona virtual B team that they will be up against.
Underway, moving from the right to the left, Barcelona in the Blaugrana, the white and black with the bats on their chest of Valencia, trying to defend towards the left. Phil Shane alongside Ray Hudson, looking in at Mestalla. 68 degrees. It is a bit breezy. Let's see if that causes Ter Stegen any problems. Winds from the southwest gusting up over 20 miles an hour, Ray. And we've talked about it quite a bit. Even more than rain or snow, wind can be a factor. They're bouncing over the diminutive Piatti. Looking at this Valencia side, talked about it in the pregame. This is a match within a match. It means nothing if they win, but it could mean everything for Gary Neville, maybe starting what could be a winning streak with showdowns against struggling Espanyol, a beatable Rapid Vienna home and away, and Granada sandwiched in between. So from a losing streak, it could well be 5 wins in a row if they can start here today.
They can get that confidence boost by beating a Barcelona team that, as I said, does have some top quality players in the lineup. And on the other side of the coin, Phil, if Valencia go down again here tonight, this crowd may just be next to breaking point ahead of this big game here on Saturday against the Parakeets of Espanyol, who have been struggling mightily themselves. So the next 3 games for Gary Neville, as much as he's been walking a short plank, he's still on it, and this ownership group don't indicate that they're going to let him go. But the next 3 games, absolutely vital.
Crossed over Neymar, make that over Negredo. An easy grab for Ter Stegen.
And of course, Barcelona, all of these players bled through their system to the manner born. They wear the pressure like a pair of carpet slippers, these youngsters. But it's the manner in which they play. It'll be the same Barcelona as when Messi's out there, Suarez and Neymar and Gerard Piqué, Busquets. It'll be possession football, but there will be some unfamiliarity, obviously, amongst Barcelona's fans. So that's part of it, is seeing how this Valencia team can take advantage of that.
Heading in towards that midway point of the 3rd minute. Lots of youngsters out there for both teams. Santos and Ibrahim Diallo, 26-year-old Brazilian, the 19-year-old Mali international. Headed back by Vermeulen. And Ter Stegen over to grab it. Munir with 5 goals in this tournament, Ray, and Alvaro Negredo right behind him with 4. So maybe the goal-scoring crown of the Copa del Rey on the line. You also take a look at some of these Barcelona players, including the one that is right in the middle of the camp, Sergi Samper, who was lost in the shuffle behind Gumbau, but gets the start here today with Gumbau on the bench. So maybe down the stretch, a chance to prove he deserves some time.
Yeah, he's a good leggy player. 28, Samper, and great things expected of him. Look,
nice ball from Sergio Roberto. Here's Munir cutting into his favored left, squares. Sandro! Well designed, but not well finished. Out for a goal kick.
Beautiful hold-up play by Munir. I thought he was going to try the effort himself right here and drive in, but typical Barcelona player, he looks for the better route, and it's a wonderful layup. Ivan Rakitic streaking into the box gives him another option, draws the defender away from him to open up the path to goal for Ramirez, but nowhere close.
And he realizes he's also been lost in the shuffle, Ray. Munir has stepped back into the picture as a backup to Neymar, Messi, and Suarez, but Sandro's had a while since his last appearance. If he would have scored there, it would have gone a long way towards etching his name in Luis Enrique's playbook. Foul against Barca. Lots of empty seats in the background. Ray, if one of the keys to the game was Barcelona taking the fans out of the game, they're more than halfway there. In fact, perhaps introducing themselves by name first. Lifted in towards the spot. Negredo the target, but headed clear. Samper trying to get rid of it, but can't. Now clattered into from behind Roberto. Play on. Mathieu finally brings it down, and off his chest volleys it to midfield. Munir, nice touch. Roberto to Rakitic. Off to the near side. Adriano playing a more offensive role today.
Had the opportunity to just fizz one in there after he'd done well with the two pressing players on, but didn't see any of the youngsters open inside. Again, these situations where you've got so many of the experienced players playing alongside of the youngsters, it doesn't come automatic, and they'll have to work at it. Very familiar with each other through the first team practices, of course, but on showtime, when the big lights are on, a different element.
Chested in Samper, did so well a couple of seasons ago. Seemed one of those most likely to move up, but has been forced to play for Barca B.
Yeah, the Barcelona fans that I remember talking to around Camp Nou when we did the Clásico last year, Phil, was all full of the praises of Samper, and he was one of the ones that they wanted to see a lot more of.
Now double teaming and steals it away nicely alongside Mathieu.
Rakitic, wonderful pickpocket there.
Near side, Adriano.
See the maturity of these young Barcelona players, though. It'll go under the radar, but in a game where you're representing the club in these situations where it's expected that it should be handled, that in itself brings a different type of pressure and expectancy from, well, everybody. And 5 minutes in, they look as if they've been playing together for a long time.
There's Roberto. That one's going to spin away a little bit. Touch forward. Vidal playing it back, wants it back.
Vidal wanted it back first time from Munir. Didn't get it.
Laid back by Munir. Roberto out wide again. Vidal, the ex-Sevilla man, banging it into the back of Gaia. And up hustles Fran Villalba, but it's out of play.
Another example there earlier. Alex Vidal had a situation where he was expecting the ball back from Munir a lot earlier. He would have got it back from the likes of Neymar and Messi, but youngster just a split second hesitant with the release of the ball, but he battles on, keeps it alive.
Good look at Munir. Legendary scorer for Barcelona's youth teams. Scored on his first team debut, but it took a while before he found the net again. Here's Rakitic across for Sandro, who also scored on his debut. just a game later. Roberto back for Sandro, scampers over, keeps it in play. Under pressure
ball
from Zaibo. Safe play wide for Vidal.
Still capable of playing the telling, questioning balls, these Barcelona youngsters as well. Never afraid to go that different route and ignore the clear open pass in front of them.
Roberto checking the mirror. Rakitic eluding the pressure from Piatti.
Important Blondie here today. Beautiful.
Cannons this one up and over. Again, beautiful design. The shot just off target.
Player that's really the experience in that midfield, despite the fact that he's going to be playing in probably a little bit more advanced position here today. He's the one who will be looking to set the motion, keep the rhythm, bring the youngsters in with those sorts of passes. And look at that, he had a wonderful running Ramirez there, just to the outside of him. Again, been watching Suarez. Wonderful runs inside of the box tonight from the youngsters.
Give away by Jaume.
And you'll chuckle in there, Phil, but I mean, really, when you're playing with a man like Suarez day in, day out in practice, and you see that elusiveness and the types of quick darting runs, these kids will be picking that up.
Something to note, I'm sure Luis Enrique picking up just 10 minutes in, and Munir already creating 2 golden chances. Sandro and Rakitic both sending it off target, all the way back to Ter Stegen. Giveaway. Chance now for Veso. Tries to sweep it in, but Vermaelen sweeps it away.
Good run by Ruben. Lovely little run, and it's a well-appreciated effort. Just that little bit of luck needed there to find it. Just not accurate enough. Did everything right, but the last 6 inches of the pass. In
swinger, near post, lances high, still in for Samper to clear. Sends it back to the middle and lives to tell about it as Villalba cranks it wide. What's been the problem with Valencia? They haven't played poorly, although they haven't taken advantage of their chances.
Well, they have had opportunities to convert and then build on that, but they've been woeful in front of goal. And one of the prime suspects of that failure is on the field here tonight in Negredo. He's had countless opportunities. He's been handed the captaincy as well, but hasn't lived up to that pressure or expectations. You're right, Phil, they haven't played altogether horrifically, but without the confidence in front of goal, and there's a lot that goes missing. They haven't had it.
Well, trickles wide. Both teams claiming. We should talk about Negredo, Ray. Just 1 goal under Nuno, and he was one of the big protagonists to get the Portuguese coach out.
Yep.
Of course, since then,
well played.
Sergio Roberto into the box, drives in on Santos, but forced to retreat and cleared away. Since then, he has scored 6 goals, including the 4 in the cup, but he's had the chance for so much more.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's some big fish off his hook time and time again, and driven the Valencia supporters to derision. But all in all, let's assure it, even in the most optimistic way that you can honestly say, Valencia have played very well. The fans haven't really seen it and let the coach know about it, being right off of their high mark. Tim Stannard, of course, this morning was talking to me about how the situation with past Valencia coaches have led to those coaches leaving this stadium and going on to greater things. Some big names, look out.
Lifting forward, Santi Mina.
Poor ball from Negredo. Had an option out left of him as well.
Other chance for Valencia. Ter Stegen confident in his feet, and that actually draws a nice round of applause from the visiting faithful. And all the way back for Domenech. Talk about ex-Valencia coaches.
There's been some good ones, hasn't it?
Rafa Benitez available. And at this point, if things continue, even if there is a penalty clause in his Real Madrid departure, Peter Lim might be willing to pay that if they can't find the wins sooner. Ex-Sevilla boss Juan de Ramos also out there. And Villas Boas. Then he thought he'd go to Porto. That didn't work out. So there are some big names. In fact, a lot of surprises. They weren't the ones that were contacted before Gary Neville.
Yeah. Claudio Ranieri is another one who's doing an unbelievable job, literally an unbelievable job at Leicester City, who's leading the English Premier League. He had a bad time of it here in 2004, 2005, and of course Ronald Koeman, another one who had one season here, the great Koeman, great ex-Barcelona, legendary Dutchman, magnificent, and he didn't get much time here. It seems that if you don't do well at Valencia and you go on, you do pretty well.
Koeman doesn't need to buy many rounds this season either, especially since Fraser Forster came back. Of course, in some ways that is something. When Diego Alves got hurt in the offseason, that's had a carry-on effect. The Brazilian, arguably Brazil's #1 and arguably the best goalkeeper in La Liga, unavailable to this point. And all you have to do is look at what Bravo has done for Barcelona to shore up whatever defensive weaknesses they have had. Santi Mina pushed across. Don't forget beInSports.com to find out all of the latest on the Copa del Rey. Look ahead to tomorrow's Celta Sevilla showdown.
Good run.
Check out beIN Sports Connect as well and share your thoughts on Twitter. Reaching in Vidal, and he got more man than ball. Velasco quick with the whistle. Could be dangerous here with Negredo inside.
Good overlapping run, brave by Gaia, encouraged to get forward out of his defensive hole and join in the attack as the little cherubs look down. He'd have been expecting to start tonight, a lot of those youths.
That might be the player bench, though. We might see him in the second half. Ter Stegen moving the wall just an inch. A half hour left to go in this opening stanza.
Have a look at this delivery. They've had one or two prior to this. Nothing to convert into danger.
Swings away. Ter Stegen stays
Another
back. One. Negredo and Santos get in each other's way.
Poor ball into the delivery zone. It hits the target, but it literally hits the target. It doesn't invite that target onto the ball, into that space ahead of them.
Munir giving chase, but taken away by Piatti.
Good player. Where's he from?
Almeria? You weren't looking for that one, were you?
Argentina.
Along with Vidal, ex of Almeria, but on to bigger and better. Mathieu. Sergio Roberto actually dropping back.
Beautiful ball. What a beautiful pass.
And Vidal with plenty of real estate in front. Rakitic trying to find that little gap.
Pass might not look like much, but I'm telling you, he beat 5-6 players in front of him on a curving pass. Absolutely impeccably placed by Sergi.
And then he beats them on the dribble. The header, though, from Sandro goes wide.
Something being lost in translation.
Either that or it could be the exchange rate. He said that there really is no problem, or at least at the outset, with the pregame speech, a chance to prepare it. And obviously his brother Phil has learned some Spanish and some Valencian, in fact, the local dialect, but has admitted that at the half, when he needs to make adjustments and he's only got about 5 minutes to do it, it has been a bit of a bother. Strong from Bartra. 7-goal cushion. Barca can afford to play around. Adriano. Nice little give and go. A bit behind from Samper, but Rakitic adapts. Vidal in for Alves at that right back. Tried to thread it in for Rakitic, sliding through to clear it away Danilo. Some of the regulars looking on, including the suspended Mustafi, German international, who's had a rough year. Beautiful from Munir, but he sends it high.
Wonderful tiptoe through Valencia's tulips here from Munir. Take a look. 2, 3, 4, slaloming Alberto Tomba style, and then just kind of wrap that left foot around it and drive it down and home. But beautiful build-up from the kid. Again, is all the hard part good? Well, the harder part's putting it in the net.
Ball banged back to Ter Stegen. Of course, this is not the only Copa del Rey match this week.
Again,
dribbling his way through.
Beautiful ball in to Vermaelen, and he's got a question asked of him here and gets through it nicely. That's well played by Thomas. Lovely here, and nice in the way he keeps possession, barreling through the challenges with dexterity.
Munir drops and checks.
Look a little bit more slicker with their rebuilt team, Barcelona, don't they? Look a little bit more impressive in the build-up and in the threatening department and in the passing. Not there though, just measured a couple of inches short.
Good hustle by Beso, but not able to keep it in play, the Portuguese swing back. Now, is that the comfort of a 7-goal lead, or the fact that with that Macia system, it's ingrained, plug and play?
Right.
Artra, another player who many thought would see more time this year, but picking and choosing the spots. Luis Enrique deflected away. Piatti dispossessed, out for a Valencia throw. Good look upstairs. Peter Lim, well, facing the firing squad with a glint in his eye.
Good header, Vermaelen, well touched by Sergi.
Sandro bursting back, but keeping it in play. Danilo swings it over to Negredo, wide for Piatti, drives it across, deflected. Sergio Roberto back in time. Still not out of danger though. Piatti sneaks it in. Negredo settles, tries to look for the volley, lays it off. Piatti squares, and Matthew with a goal-saving tackle.
Astonishing, this wonderful build-up. Piatti heavily involved, looking for his white target, streaking in, and Jeremy Mathieu absolutely just doesn't snuff it out. I'm not so sure if he intentionally plays this back to his goalkeeper. If he does, that is worth highlight film of the highest order. He gets in the way. It's a wonderful interception by this ginger nut, and it's an absolutely piece of defensive art in the end, playing it back to his goalkeeper. We'll take a look again, hopefully. Here it is, a lovely ball played in, comes back out, Piatti's in, drives it across, and he's just trying to cut it out. Surely he's not that audacious, Jeremy.
Saw that little check of the eyes to find out where the run was coming from. Talk about Sergi Samper and Sandro needing to prove themselves. Mathieu has actually fallen behind Vermaelen a bit in that shuffle on the back line, although his versatility helping out. Looked like a handball against Rakitic. Valencia doesn't get the whistle.
A great intervention either way by Jeremy Mathieu. I think he was a little fortunate that it did find its way to the goalkeeper, but either way, good ball again, nicely won.
Still loose in the mid. Negredo fights it free from the big Belgian. Trying to get out of pressure. Adriano pinching in from that left back spot. Again, Vidal and Adriano on the flanks. Adriano pushing up a bit higher from Mathieu. Almost a three-back set with Bartra, Vermaelen and Mathieu, but even at 32, Mathieu showing he still has the wheels to get forward. Munir, Samper, Roberto, and off to Adriano. An angle to the 18, but he takes his time off Veso and out for a corner. Oh, maybe off the chest and a bit of the arm, but
I think so.
Incidental, said the referee.
Wonderful other look when Yati comes in. He's looking for Mina, and Jeremy says, "You shall not pass." Oh, another one with the hands to the head. He's done a lot of that.
2 golden chances already. Here's one for Barca off the corner. Rakitic claiming it was deflected.
Picks out his target beautifully, and Jeremy just sliding in.
Santi Mina. What might have been.
Maybe ter Stegen's reading it. Let's give him the benefit. Or maybe both of them were just a little fortunate. Either way, top-class defending.
Burst of speed from Danilo, the young Brazilian.
It was well played by Negredo as well to keep that alive, playing that one through. Look out.
Slammed away by Jaume. This isn't his starters, but he's still demanding better. As to whether there was any thought that Luis Enrique would take it easy. Now, obviously, he's given his big stars, especially that MSN front line, a break, but even with the reserves out there, demanding more overlap. Adriano, one touch, kicked away by Zaibo, the young French mid.
Played.
Smart defense. Santi Mina banging it off with Munir. Mina coming over from Celta, obviously Luis Enrique quite familiar. Vermaelen snaps it forward, but Rakitic forced his way free.
26 minutes in, good competitive open game. Both teams playing all-out attack. When they get the ball, you know, streaking forward, damning the torpedoes both ways. Credit to Valencia. They've come back into this game as well. Some good threats in the last 10 minutes or so. All the youngsters, so very even game.
Of course, there is a bit of a record on the line, Ray. 28 straight without defeat. That was the mark set by Pep Guardiola a few years back, and Luis Enrique, who's already beaten his winning percentage for the first 100 games, could now put that unbeaten streak in the rearview mirror.
Yeah, I think Gary Neville's been in charge, what is it, 16 games or so now, and they've only ever took the lead 4 times, and asking to do that against Barcelona is a challenge in itself with a young team like this of untested players, but really have showed some tremendous threat going forward to open that, make it 5 for Gary, and grabbing the early lead. It will do this loyal crowd that has turned out tonight the world of good. They're aching for something to cheer about.
Possession heavily in favor of the visitors.
Oh, that big congregation outside the stadium by a big group of fans that looked as if they were staying out to make their protests known. Well played.
Touch by Zaibo. Forced free to Piatti. Sent in, but over that near post. just over the head, so close.
Wonderful feed from Piatti here. The Ebo starts it, and then a wonderful little cut in, and dynamite little touch by Villalba. Gets the shape, wraps his foot around it beautifully, and just cannot steer it down. But Andres Cordero, and talking in the extra pre-game show, that this player is one to keep your eye on, and as always, Andres spot on. Lovely little player, showing some dynamite little touches and wonderful elusive run. He's got heavenly touch on the ball.
Not looking like a boss who's taking it easy.
These are battle-tested grounds for these youngsters, and he will squeeze all the juice out of them in these pressurized situations. And the expectancy factor, again, to live up to Barcelona's high standards for all of them, both individually and as a team. Team always is the first thing and foremost. And when he doesn't see that team putting it together in his style, he will let them know.
Villalba just 17 years of age today, and I don't care who's in a uniform. It has to be a thrill to step on the field against Barcelona. Spanish youth international, though, so he's been in big matches before. Back to Ter Stegen. Would it be considered even a moral victory enough if this Valencia walks away with a point?
Absolutely. Well, I don't know about a point. If they can get the tie, it'll be a good booster, morally, for their trip down here against Espanyol on Saturday, which is the big pivotal game. If they don't beat a struggling Espanyol side, Phil, it'll be hell to pay, I would imagine.
Just skips away from Piatti.
They've shown enough to see if they can take a tie out of this game in the early going. Barcelona's threats have been there, though, so again, it's tit for tat both ways. Munir still sharpening his swords and getting a little bit more accurate each time he gets the ball. Sandro's been a man that knows where the back of the net is lately as well. Good run. Nice feed.
Rakitic sending it off to Sandro around Zaibo, who then runs into his heels and trips him up just outside the area.
He clips him intentionally. It's wonderful, elusive play here, driving around and around. And they're clumsy defending in the end by Diallo.
Ex-Ajaccio, now in his third season with Valencia. Ibrahim Diallo sliding in, trying to use his height. Looking for that upper corner, but Samper maybe a bit too selfish. Actually, Rakitic, according to Sandro. I could ask you with that Newcastle accent how hard it is coaching players who view it as a foreign language, but to be serious for Neville, is it more than just the language? Is it the style of the game that he's been accustomed to?
Yeah, and a lot more as well. He has had his own track record in the past of being very critical of foreign players. When he was a pundit in the Sky studios for the English Premier League, and he has been criticised by a lot of ex-Valencia players because of that. Hernan Crespo, the latest one, to come out and say that he remembers distinctly. Oh, mama!
Good thing he was 8 yards out.
But he was very critical of the foreign players that came into EPL. Well, boots on the other foot now altogether.
Negredo earns the foul.
But a multitude of challenges as well. His first managerial job with a massive, massive club like Valencia, without having any former knowledge of the Spanish league, of coaching, and a completely different element once you cross out of the commentary booth into that cauldron that is the technical area. And he certainly has put a big question mark on the appointment itself. Good player he was, international class player, unquestionably Gary Neville, a tremendous servant to Manchester United, of course, but more than that. Ooh.
And just at the edge of the 18, Ter Stegen able to gobble it up.
All of that knowledge that he had and the actual experience, the transference of that across a locker room, and especially with a club that had been struggling ahead of that, but he certainly hasn't improved any aspect of the team ahead of what Nuno Espirito Santo did, in my opinion.
Sandro back to Adriano, whose pass goes awry. And again, considering Nuno was praised for his performance the year before,
right,
how quickly the fans turned.
That's right. And
which maybe was a warning to Neville.
The players especially.
Burst of speed from Roberto, reaching out a hand. And it's Diallo with the foul, and he's going in the book.
Diallo tracks young Sergi down. Sergi's so smart. He cuts across Diallo, and I believe the arm comes across. Let's take a look right there. The arm slows him a little, but then the body check, the hip comes through, and clear as the mole on Cindy Crawford's beautiful face. Free kick, yellow card, sets the standard.
Diallo.
Wonderful opportunity here, maybe for Rakitic. He likes them from this. It's a wonderful distance, this, Phil. A great angle just to the side of the goal. These are the ones that practice till the moon goes to sleep at night on the practice field. It's an absolute perfect situation. Is he up to it? Jerry Mathieu wants a piece of this action.
Against his old Valencia. Mathieu actually leaves it for Rakitic.
Well, he's been off with his free kicks all right, and it's not a question of adjusting his gyroscope here. The case of getting a new right foot.
He might need one too. Ruben Besa. '21-year-old right back drawing the foul. Adriano a little over-eager. Alan Santos. Good ball into the center. Flipping it away, Fran Villalba. Dances to his left, nothing there.
Vermaelen backing off.
Pushing up Gaya in towards Negredo. Couldn't force it past Vidal. Down goes Vermaelen again, lunging in with Santi Mina. Maybe holding on just a bit too much, but Vermaelen has been knocked to ground several times, and for a player that has a bit of an injury rap, Luis Enrique wants to come through unscathed.
Had a great opportunity there to challenge Fran Villalba, but I think he smartly backed off of him and just contained him, giving the youngster tremendous respect, and rightfully so, and intervened very well to win it back, but just hesitated a split second to get it off of his foot, Vermaelen. That's been one of the faults of Thomas Vermaelen when he's had his opportunities this season for Barcelona. Just that split second hesitancy in him on a lot of the times where he's had possession of the ball. Seen him play some tremendous games as well for Barcelona, but that little bit of inconsistency in his game.
Nice to Rakitic, opens wide to Adriano. Lifts it in, headed clear Diallo, right back towards Sandro. Alan Santos parries it away for another corner.
Sandro's unlucky here because Munir is waiting, lurking on that back post like a hungry vulture, and Sandro recognizes him. Whether that is an intentional pass across the face of goal or a strike towards that far post is debatable, but he nearly was able to find his young teammate on the back. Good intervention again from Valencia.
Wings in the air to the spot. Leaping early for Malin, and it just skims through his hair. Now,
I think Mark Barter actually put him off of the header, Phil. If we see that one again in replay, Vermeulen looked as if he was attacking that one all day.
bursting through the middle and onside. Negredo one-on-one with Ter Stegen. The bounce goes his way off the keeper, back to the big man, to the back of the net.
Well, direct EPL-style football that should please Gary Neville. Nothing pretty about it. Route one, over the top, into space, and Negredo's onto it. Take a look. Boom. Right over the top. Not aiming for anybody in particular. Just into the space. Negredo tries to lob it over the top of Ter Stegen. Can it do it? Ter Stegen stands up nicely, gets the rub of the green. He's fortunate here to get the snap, crackle, pop, rubs off of his chest, and then the tuck away is instinctive. But that's got to really please Gary Neville.
First goal since their cup win over Las Palmas back on January 28th. They've been outscored 9-0 in the interim. Well, not exactly
pure
happy days are here again.
English goal, wasn't it? Huh? In the old days when Gary used to play.
Vidal into Piatti.
Can it get any more direct than that? There's another effort going back to the well. And to be fair, they'll say that they know Barcelona is going to be playing a suicidally high back line, as they always do. So if we do get it in those deep positions, maybe try to hit that cow's field behind them and see if we get anything at the end. Was Ter Stegen a little bit asleep at the wheel?
Beautiful steal. Santimina just got away, and Mathieu patiently pokes it free.
We saw Keylor Navas for Real Madrid playing wonderful sweeper-keeper last week, Phil, and maybe Ter Stegen might have been a little bit of taking the leaf out of Keylor's boot there.
Looked like he went in almost half-hearted, and the ball bounces off soft and straight back. Regardless, it's now 7-1, foul against Santos. Last two matches, including the 7-0 against Valencia in the first leg, Barcelona outscoring the opposition 9-0. But the two prior games, Ray, they also went down a goal against Atletico de Coque, against Athletic to Iñaki Williams, and then bounced back with victories in both of those matches. Still not looking for 7 really on the day, but they will take it. Valencia in position to grab a win and end the bleeding. Mathieu.
So you're saying that Ter Stegen was a little half-hearted in the chance? I'm not so sure. I think he's got a lot to contend with, a player coming in one-on-one at that speed and went to attack, and he saved the shot initially, so his positioning was well. It's unfortunate that it got the ricochet, and then that fell to Negredo, who didn't make a mistake the second time. I still think he should have been higher placed. That attack by Barcelona, that ball was hit very, very deep inside of the Valencia area.
And again, Negredo, 6'1" and probably what, a good 180, 190. Not the most pleasant person to run into. Samsung Galaxy halftime show coming your way in mere moments. Adriano. Samper upended. Keep it cool, says Carlos Velasco. "28 straight without defeat on the line for Barcelona."
Be interesting to see as well, another replay if we get a wider angle, if Barcelona tried to spring the offside trap during that attack, Phil.
Vermeulen nowhere to be seen.
I'm not so sure that they did, though. It's just a hit and hope ball over the top. I don't think that Barcelona actually stepped up in a choreographed style, but I'm sure we'll be able to take a look at that at half-time.
Adriano, they'll change the angle. Headed wide by Munir, and he had Bartra flying in behind him.
That's exactly right, and he's never going to be able to pull away from such an open invitation. A beautiful ball played in. Bartra was probably in a better position on the angle to do a better job, but Munir was in a tremendous goal-scoring opportunity and had a clear look at the ball, but his header nowhere near in the right direction. That's beautiful skill again.
Another chance from Danilo, stepping in Mina to try and win it back, and does. Back to Fran, and Villalba sending it wide. Charging in Gaia, and covered before Negredo can pounce.
Silky skill from little Danilo. This leads to a nice attempt by young Jose. It's another great look at it. Got to finish that one off, hasn't he?
And you can't really fault Munir for going for it, even if Bartra might have been in better position.
No, not at all. Beautiful ball clipped in.
So Negredo with his 5th goal. That's tied for the lead now with Munir et al. Suarez and Messi, 2 of the others. Good run, Sandro, but a poor pass behind Rakitic. Santos, the Pernambuco native, a good pickup for Valencia. Of Sporting Braga, but perhaps part of the problem as well. More on that later. Piatti threads it wide. Negredo into the middle. The Argentine. Bartra bangs it away.
Really turning on the style points earlier, as we'll see here. A little bit of Ibracadabra and wonderful play that gets the crowd shouting ole. Here's a beautiful clipped in ball by Adriano right on the head of a pin, but not finished. And poor marking, and that will incense a defender of his ability. Once upon a time.
Well, launched in from the corner, glancing header, Santos high, and that's going to do it for the opening half. Maybe, just maybe, a second goal could have given them firm belief, but at least it is a lead for Valencia finally at the half.
Yep, the experience of Negredo and the good fortune of Negredo comes out and takes the lead, and they will take it any way, shape or form. 1-0 to the boys with the bats on their shirts.
Just a few moments before the start of this second half, Valencia with the lead against Barcelona, although 7-0 down from the first leg. Moral victories at the moment to try and get back on a winning track. And take another look, a very English-like goal over the top from Zaibo and right through the goalkeeper by Negredo.
Marc Bartra recognises he's the one that is keeping both the players on side and tries to step up, take a look, and it's over the top of his side. And he does his best to break his legs to get back and cut this one off, and just fails. Well, Pretty Lady still believes the team can get another 7 or 8. And Negredo launching the comeback.
Domenech with a clean sheet through the first half. Carlos Velasco gets us started for this second half. Valencia in the white and black, now from right to left, the Blaugrana hoops of Barcelona. Needing to get a goal to try to keep that unbeaten streak alive, Ray.
Barcelona typically charge of the possession stats in that first half, Phil, around about 70%, I believe. But Valencia,
69.
Valencia it is that's been hitting the target much more than Barcelona. Good ball.
Ripped in, diving header right through the middle, and Santimina again slams the ground in frustration.
Unlucky. It's good protection as a lovely ball clipped in for Mina, and it's a good, valiant attempt to get on the right side. Yati again lays the table, and Stegen's just a bystander. Good barreling attempt. That would have been a peach of a goal.
Both teams with 6 shots in the first half, Ray, but Barcelona none on Domenech's net, while 3 have bothered Ter Stegen, 1 getting through.
Yep.
Foul against Samper. You can understand Santimina trying to lift it up a bit. His dad, an ex-Barca B player, before moving on to Celta, which is where Santimina got his start in his first full season with Valencia. Mentioned Luis Enrique, quite familiar back in his days in Vigo. Nice from Santos. Now Danilo. Samper splits 2.
Oh.
Nice run, Rakitic. Munir trying to peel away. Now it's Sandro. Wide is Vidal, but he'll have to wait. 3 in the box. And a poor ball in. Santos steals. Good step up. Bartra. The big man looking to hunt. Towards the goal line. Can't get the cross in, and again an unfortunate bounce. Good work, but nothing to show for it. Bouncing under Negredo. Bartra stepping in, maybe a little too much for Munir. Jaume runs around it and launches it upfield with his right. Skips all the way through. Chance for Piatti. Bartra pokes it out wide for Veso. Next, Vitoria man lifting it over. Piatti now drives it in low, and a worm burner all the way through to Ter Stegen.
Barcelona, the most successful team in this venerable old competition, winning it 27 times. Amazing.
A couple more than Athletic Bilbao. Of course, one of those athletic ones way back in the early days, a bit controversial, but Real Madrid checking in 3rd. Of course, Real Madrid no chance to add to that haul.
Nicely.
Kicked out in the Cheryshev affair, suspended for Villarreal, had carried over, but no one told Rafa Benitez. And now Cheryshev sent over to Valencia, but not on the bench today. Samper, calm and cool, moves away from the pressure. Adriano. And looking at the formation from Luis Enrique, a bit of a wrinkle. We've seen Mathieu at that left back before, but he's tended to push up. Today, it is almost a 3-back with Bartra and Vermaelen. Rakitic took his eyes away. Good step in by Zaibo. Santos with the outside of the boot. Roberto dispossessed by Villalba. Homegrown player from Valencia. Santos to Diallo. Diallo from the Aspire Academy in Doha.
Oh.
Bora Milutinowic's pet project. Rakitic wide for Vidal. Tries to get a little tricky and then upended. No foul, says the referee, but Vidal down and sportingly put into touch, even if the fans might not agree. Just clipped his own heel.
No, he falls back on that right leg, and that jarring motion we've seen before that causes problems. This is wonderful skill from a player that we've seen numerous times here tonight turn it on with a lot more of the other Valencia players. Beautiful little touch. in control.
Still just 20 years of age.
Antimina.
Don't forget to share what your favorite moments were, what I loved, or hashtag Que Te Gusto to be in Sports USA or ESPN Sports for the locker room. Coming up on Friday, and Valencia fans, I'm sure, would love to see this lead hold. Barcelona fans would love to see their unbeaten streak hit 29. Only one of those things can come true. There's Roberto to the inside. Samper. Or Munir, but who is leaning backwards. An easy poke free. Beso. To Diallo. Got his start in European play in Belgium. Eupen in the Germanic section of Belgium, actually bought by the Aspire Academy. Ex-Barca players Jeffrin and Rodri there. Munir poked free at the last moment before he's escorted down.
Oh, a touch by Munir. A lovely telling ball by Rakitic over that distance, and that's a type of ball that usually Munir is a lot more subtle with his first touch. He needed that first touch to open it up. Good ball.
Good ball from Fran.
Nicely.
Into the middle. Piatti deflects off Vermaelen. Still alive, Negredo.
Finally gets the Negredo. Piatti needed to find him earlier.
Turns Vidal to the goal line. Drops. And a swing of the left foot and a miss from Piatti.
Again, Piatti at the start and finish of nearly everything that Valencia are doing well.
Bartra the wrong direction.
And Negredo very close to finding the back of the net. Thanks to the Argentina man, Piatti. Best player on the park for Valencia.
Diallo sending it wide. Into the middle, Zaibo. Good step up by the French midfielder, but then runs out of real estate. Adriano throwing his body in the way. Elbow came up. Santimina getting a little ring of the noggin. Roberto. Faster than he looks. Villalba trying to keep pace. Been impressed with the 17-year-old, though. Both teams playing with a lot of youngsters. The 3 teenagers out there for Valencia.
Again, lovely ball from Rakitic again, and this is what happens when his first touch isn't good. It gets away from him, and coming out, cleats out, he says the extension of the leg. It's probably a good call. Fabulous ball in from Rakitic to question Munir if he can turn in that space. He can't. As that earlier example as the Greyhound rounds the corner, Negredo taking Alex Vidal to the cleaners.
Ray, let's talk a little bit about that, because Vidal was brought in because of his versatility, both at left wing, where he's shown for Sevilla last year, and left back, where he came up from Almeria. But he's been a little vulnerable. And backing up Dani Alves, you probably want someone that's a bit more of a lock and load defender. This is Barcelona too. Arthur out wide if they wish. Mathieu. Pushing Vidal higher and higher, almost as though Bartra moving to right back at times. With some backspin, but it skips all the way to Jaume. Danilo. Cut out well. Adriano back in time. Peeling away from Mathieu.
Poor giveaway by Jeremy.
Negredo tried to flip it up and almost found Piatti. Arthur in the way. Zaibo to Fran. Villalba again. Villalba only about 5'5", but a dominant force in the midfield today. Nice little shake and bake for Ruben, but he couldn't keep it in play.
Experience on the Valencia bench, a little bit more in the attacking options for them in the shape of Bicali and Gomez.
Big man Abdennour also out there, but they need goals. Good touch wide for Gaia.
Slicker performance in the second half from Valencia. Winning the battle in this engine room in midfield. Better possession. Better approach to goal than anything that Barcelona have been able to knit together themselves in that midfield.
Coming back from an offside position, Rakitic.
Anything, it's been that direct play from Rakitic up to Munir. Beautiful way many times, but again the possession control just not in Munir several times in the second half. To sharpen his game up a bit.
Under pressure. Ibo back to Jaume. Immediately following this match, French Cup play, PSG against Lyon on beIN Sports. Express Extra coming your way on beIN Sports and Espanol. Just over a half hour left to go. Valencia knows they're not going to find 6 goals unless a leprechaun also gives them a pot of gold. They just want to stop the bleeding, find a way to hold on for a win. Maybe start a win streak. Yati bounces over Mathieu, but no one behind Negredo. Adriano, good diagonal run from Munir. Sandro started in the middle, but he's been pushed wide to the left. Here's Vidal. Ex-teammates of Piatti. Passing in the night in their Almeria days. Roberto off to Rakitic, spots a gap, bounds it wide on a hop, but well wide.
And at the option of the elusive run of Neymar or Suarez, it's not in them. You see there, it's no darting run ahead of the time where the Croatian gets the ball. They're the types of jackrabbit runs that Munir and Sandro need to make when Blondie gets the ball.
Only the 3rd time that Barcelona was held without a shot on goal in the first half, Ray. Villanovense, the tiny Cinderellas earlier, and Espanyol in one of the derbies the other. Clash of heads with Vidal. Barca still without a shot on goal as we hit the 60th minute. Negredo passes off the armband to Piatti as we have our first substitution of the day. And it will be Bicali back from injury. The Belgian stepping into the mix to see what he can do.
And the goal that separates these two teams. See Negredo looking to that right side and identifying a spot to finish it off, but good reading of those eyes by ter Stegen.
Almost
just not getting enough of that shoulder on the ball to take it away out of his compass and finishing it easy at the second opportunity. Good play as well, many regards. One opportunity that he missed that I think he would have liked to have back, Negredo, but led the line well and showed the right appetite for the team, and resting him, putting him in cotton wool ahead of the game on Saturday versus Espanyol.
They also do have those 2 European matches coming up in the Europa against Rapid Vienna. Bicali more of a winger. They're going to move the young Santi Mina and all 5'9" of his frame into the middle. Santos just avoids the corner. 6 goals in 2016 for Negredo. A start. Bartra almost gets it back. Bicali just 20. now taking over the mantle as the smallest man on the pitch from Villalba, only 5'4". Had his pro start at PSV before moving on to Valencia this season. Already capped a couple of times, Ray. Sweeping it through Danilo. It's Vasco man trying to force it free. Spinning away Zaibo, and he draws the foul. Do the 28 games mean anything to Luis Enrique now that they're past? Does he really care for number 29?
Oh, I'm sure he has restless nights sweating over it, Phil. It's one of the great records of football. They're a mile away from beating it, of course, in terms of how far he'd need to go past this stage before he actually cracks the record.
Another chance in. Trying to sneak it through. Gaya appealing for a foul, and now still back behind the play, the left back. Finally scampers back. Gaya following in the footsteps of Alba as great Valencia left backs. Good chip. Santos well positioned. Gaya fights through Vidal. Looked like he got the ball. Well, maybe a little payback for his protests. And now a yellow card to boot. Coming up high. Good call. So now 3 of the back 4 for Valencia in the book. Right back Ruben Veso, the only one that doesn't need to worry. Here Jaume screaming at Santi Mina about his defensive responsibilities on this restart.
Well, be quiet and let's hear him speak. Not often we get to hear that. Wonderful.
3 in the wall. Samper serving as a target for the ex-Valencia man. Driven into the wall and rattles wide. All of that, I guess you could say Jaume had the wall in perfect position. Rakitic will swing this one away. The 25-year-old keeper hangs in the air. He plays his line. And the header from Vermeulen goes over the crossbar. Did Santos get a touch?
I think he did.
Just off the back of the head. Rakitic tries it again. More of a playmaking role today. Sends it in. Headed back out by Zaibo, and another foul outside as Bakali takes a tumble. Youngest player to score a hat-trick in the Eredivisie back in his early days with PSV. A 5-0 defeat of Neck Nijmegen. Still in play on that far side, Samper. Still awaiting our first Barcelona change. Back to Ter Stegen. Speaking of Dutch, his name coming in from the Dutch basically means to the alley, which is exactly where Barcelona took Valencia in the first leg. And here comes Sergio Roberto looking to equalize. Vidal swings it back to the middle. Roberto in for Sandro, who just lost his footing on the turn. Stolen back by Bartra, cleared by Piatti.
Wonderful construction there by Barcelona, and Sergio Roberto had a wonderful chance to play the telling ball, but I don't think it was losing the footing at all. Just a poor pass at the end. Magic!
Into the area, Rakitic, but too close to dead center, and Jaume.
Very difficult to finish this one off, but he gives it a tremendous effort. Wonderful Rakitic, 3 men to beat, and he don't care. Goes around the other side and tries to curl it towards that top corner. Just doesn't get the height on it that was required. A good ball.
Drew heading back to the middle, but stripped away. Munir having a very frustrating day of it. Jaume with the stop, his 4th save of the day, or first make that. 4 saves on the other side for Ter Stegen. Dances off, but straight to Piatti, the diminutive Argentine. On the overlap to Villalba, sneaks it through, but no one ready for the run. Don't forget, more action in the Copa del Rey tomorrow. Slightly less steep hill for Celta, but Sevilla feeling pretty good with a 4-0 lead. Check that one out starting at 2:30 Eastern, 11:30 a.m. Pacific. sports.com for more details. Sandro back. Looks like he's slid back to the middle. Munir out wide on the left. Adriano to Rakitic. Sandro clearing space. Here's Bartra. In for Vidal. And the pass again, just a half beat late. Slamming it away on a rope. Jaume, but straight to Bartra. Nice back heel from Vidal this time. Bartra sweeps it in. Poor clearance, but Sandro can't get the shot away. As Veso sent it right back to the middle. It doesn't look like the regular starters are too impressed at the moment. There's Cheryshev, the newcomer, beInSports.com. Find out more about Valencia and their goals and share your thoughts about this match. Does it mean anything to Barcelona, and how much does it mean to Valencia?
Well, it means a lot to Barcelona to get to the final of the King's Cup, Copa del Rey. Looks like they've got more than one foot in that final, of course, but Valencia really are playing a little better with the kids.
Another pressure forces a poor pass from Samper. Here's Bacali, skips it past the heels of Adriano. Danilo Barbosa back to Bacali in the box. All 5'4" of them, and he finds his fellow mighty Mike Fran with a look away pass. Inside, edge of the area, Veso in a foul just outside.
Adriano a little bit too eager to make the challenge here. I didn't think he was going anywhere. It comes through a little clumsily.
Bacali, born in Liège, had a chance to play for Morocco, but Mark Wilmots wanted to make sure that didn't happen. Actually, 2.5 years ago, the age of 17, got him capped.
And a good opportunity to find big Zahibo here with a clipped-in pass up for the big man from France to come streaking in on this one. Powerful lad. You see, he's the man that's occupying that back area. It is the biggest man in Barca picking him up, Mathieu.
6'2", but the shot goes up and over.
Waste.
Piatti trying to do it himself.
Oh, first plot of his copybook. Seen him strike pay dirt times from that one.
Well, the second goal would give Valencia a little breathing room on the day, and again, while they are not likely to rack up 7 and force extra time, they do have a league match against a struggling Espanyol, who have been outscored, what is it, Ray, 11-0 over their last 2 games?
Yep.
And then Rapid Vienna in Europa on Thursday. Winnable matches both. Is it Mina? No. It is Mina who exits.
Good play.
And Andres Gomez, the sparkling Portuguese attacker. This is not a Valencia bereft of talent. Nuno scratching his head as to why they weren't winning in the first half, and Gary Neville doing the same here in the second part of the season. Pressure. Andre Gomes, still just 22 himself. First season from Benfica, keeping his feet into the middle, in for Gomez, but he can't get there. Bartra got there first. Good ball from Piatti this time, and it was almost two.
Sergi Samper, he fills his pants here in a pivotal position. Always taking his lead from Sergi Busquets, but nowhere near the master there was the apprentice.
Another turn at the top of the box. Down goes Fialba, but no whistle. Reclaimed in the midfield, scooping it forward. Adriano. A poor clearance. Right back comes Los Che. Taken down outside by Samper. And another card coming out.
Again, Barcelona inviting the pressure onto themselves. It was Adriano that, as you said, poor, very un-Barcelona-like clearance that led to this. And again, was challenged by Sergi Samper. He's had a tough last couple of minutes. But it was the more experienced man of Adriano Correa. And bringing in the changes now.
Douglas stripping off the warm-up. Maybe for Vidal, maybe for Adriano. Looks like it's Danilo Barbosa, the ex-Basco man, the 19-year-old on loan from Braga. Might see him in the World Cup qualifiers for Brazil this summer. Youth international. 74th minute.
It'll be a direct hit here.
4 in the wall. Lifts it up, scoops it towards the corner, and tapped over the bar by Ter Stegen.
Sweet. Just not sweet enough. Just curls it a little bit too much, and needed to be a little bit wider of the upright to find it to beat Ter Stegen. Good goalkeeping.
Loosen the 6. Second effort Vermaelen, and Samper gets it away. Negredo, the lone goal of the match, back in the 39th minute. Diallo drops it back. By the way, another ex-teammate in Belgium of Ibrahim Diallo. The ex-Barcelona villain out of Espanyol, Luis Garcia, still playing there. Always one of our favorites. Akali. So quick. And outruns his teammates and his own ideas. Good cover by Sandro. Now Vidal. Rakitic. Barcelona scrambling just a bit here over the last few minutes. Good give and go. Roberto with Danilo on his heels. Get out, get out, get out, screaming Jaume. Try to push that offside line a bit higher. Roberto to Vidal. Wide for Sandro. Takes it in the box. Drops it back. Vidal with a shot. Quick trigger, but off target. And that might be his final play.
Another situation there. Wonderful build-up by Barcelona. Sandro Ramirez gets his ball out wide as we look at this wonderful effort at the other end. But Sandro Ramirez gets it out wide, and Rakitic had made a great run inside to be fed. Wasn't. And that might be the night for Rakitic.
Adriano, the player that will exit. So it looks like Vidal might stick around. Rakitic also coming out. Douglas at the back line. And Juan Camara checking in.
Good night's work from Rakitic. Did very well. And a struggling attempt to try to knit it together. Was one of the players making those squirreling little runs inside, outside, time and time again. The Croatian always embodiment of 100%. And it's not just effort, it's beautiful effort. Good footballer.
Oh, man. Just got it out of danger. Douglas, the 25-year-old out of Goiás in Sao Paulo in his second season with Barca, but it's kind of been buried in the shuffle, partly due to injury, and then the rest not. Vidal thought he had a steal. Danilo takes it right back. Arthur to Samper. Meanwhile, Juan Camara, as Ter Stegen scrambles off his line, the 21-year-old ex-Villarreal youth player, moving over to La Masia just a couple of seasons ago. To the inside. Camara forgot something along the way. Entangles with Diallo and commits the foul. Never played for Villarreal's first team, did Camara, after more than 100 matches with their youth teams and reserve teams, but after a season with Barca B, stepping onto the pitch, Stafi Cheryshev and the rest, well, they know there won't be a ticket to the final unless they buy one, but maybe something to build on against Espanyol in their next game on the weekend.
Certainly remains to be seen, because it'll be a wholly different lineup. Won't be that same chemistry carrying on to that game. Valencia look towards these youngsters, as I said in the preview, as an inspiration. Look out.
Breaking through, and Jaume able to get there just in time.
Gary Neville's going to be able to say to them, if our kids can beat Barcelona, sure you lot can beat Espanyol. Not a bad way to start his team talk. A little bit of humour, but it won't be easy against Espanyol, who are desperate now, and they are in that area of relegation zone as well, as is Valencia. So it's a real relegation battle. Let's not dress it up any other way.
Barca keeping the ball back in the Valencia end, although not any clear chances against Jaume. Diallo up the line. Douglas over on his left foot. Doesn't look too comfortable there. Taken right back.
Good ball.
Overlap is on. Piatti uses it. Gets it back on his left foot, but high. Nice touch back by Gaia, but Piatti couldn't put it on net.
Tremendous overlook and inviting. It's industrious. He sees it. He plays it. He gets it back. Beautiful build-up. And then just wickedly high over the top, but a good effort. Again, Piatti, here, there, everywhere. Running his stripes out there. Certainly deserves to be in the lineup on Saturday.
Final substitution is going to be Cavallo, or is it Salvador? Out comes Fran Villalba, the 17-year-old, with a nice round of applause. Valencia fans haven't had many reasons to applaud of late. And a happier exit for Fran than there was for Santi Mina. Salvador. Ivan.
Give away again.
Chance from long range. Andre Gomes forced to retreat. Back to Saibo. touch into the middle. Happy feet from Bakali as he cuts back to his right. Bakali to the area. Bakali to his left. Bakali! Poke free Bartra. Gomez can't pounce, and out comes Barca. Now a chance on the break. Good cover by Santos. Bakali might be playing his way into some playing time on the weekend as well. Nice to see he's healthy again. Looks like Barca about ready to make another switch, and it's Kaptoum checking in. Saw him in the preseason. Cameroon international, 19 years of age. Don't forget, more action coming your way in the Copa del Rey tomorrow. Celta welcoming Sevilla, looking to come from behind. 2:30 p.m. Eastern. Kaptoum still waiting to make his league debut. Well, this is his second match in the Cup reign. He's already been in the Champions League. Little clip from Douglas. Kaptoum talked about how Diallo coming through the Aspire Foundation. Kaptoum coming up through Samuel Eto's foundation back in Cameroon. Berto and Samper trying to keep it alive. Finally trickles over. Pushed forward by Kamara, asking a lot, but not enough ground for Douglas. Both teams have used all of their substitutes. Right, even if Valencia does get a victory here today, we've seen their starters up in the stands looking on. Is there really much of a carryover? Is that going to be the spark, considering the guys stepping on the field this weekend will have really had nothing to do with this?
Right. So it's a completely different scenario and landscape when the big pros come on, and they'll carry a fight against a team that is struggling in Espanyol. Be a different dynamic altogether, but there's nothing like a win, a happy locker room, and a happy coach. Of course, the English papers will all be full of it that Gary Neville beat Barcelona.
Inside, touch through, and just like that,
or
Kaptoum,
maybe not,
with his Barcelona debut goal.
Beautiful run for a beautiful smile, and lovely build-up again. Stop the presses. There's the face that has become more familiar with that depressed look. Nice ball played in to the overlap, beautifully pulled back, and that's a sweet finish. And he caresses this one home, soft as a mother's kiss at bedtime. He could have done a lot of things here, the kid. Go high, to the right, to the left, crashing in on it, but he does it the Barca way, with finesse, accuracy, and Suarez-like finish.
Joined Barcelona at the age of 12. Has to be one of your dad's favorite players, Wilf Kaptoum.
Yeah, Wilfred. That's right.
And as you said, a familiar expression on the face of Gary Neville. How did we get here again? 5 minutes left to try and get a victory. He's had some wins in the Cup, but he's looking to try and build for something in league.
That unbeaten streak now
would continue.
Oh.
Ball hadn't stopped rolling. They'll try it again. Nice finish from Kaptoum.
Wilfred.
Wilfinho. Cali. Rolls it in for Salvador Ivan. Ivan Salvador Edu, born in Spain but through his roots in Equatorial Guinea. Already capped in African World Cup qualifying. Came up around the Barcelona area from Hospitalet. So Gary Neville throwing him a bone. Abdoum, normally a midfielder, running that center channel out wide for Camara. Douglas playing a bit higher up. Richard Roberto with the switch. All of a sudden, Barcelona seems to be clicking. If there is another goal here, it seems more to be Blaugrana. In front, touched by Munir, but straight to Jaume.
Takes a bit of deflection on the way to Munir, so he does well to read this. Lovely triggered in ball across the distance. And right in front of him, as you can see, Diallo. No, it's
Santos.
Santos just reaching in and doing a great job to suffocate the final effort. I thought it took a deflection there on its way.
It looked like it. See some of the fans who have made the 200-mile trek to the southwest along the coast. Ter Stegen, never one to shy away, although he has kind of walked that ball into his net a couple of times in the past. Strong challenge by Bartra. But Salvador will get it back. A little tangle and tussle outside the 18. And Ivan maybe a little overeager with Bartra. But does it go the other way? And it looks like it might. Both of them going for it, and then Ivan striking out. A bit fortunate that the referee didn't see it, or that could have been a straight red. Just like your mom used to tell you in elementary school, it's always the one who retaliates. And now Ivan rolling the dice too many times. He does go in the book even after he does win the foul. Down into the corner. Nice little footwork from Gomez, but pushing to try and force it free. Some things to build on. I think Gary Neville still dreaming of wins.
This was a confidence booster test for this club. Nothing in terms of a building block, Phil. Just pure confidence and a much needed boost to a team that's been right on the deck, on their bellies for too long. And it looked as if they were going to get that win up until Abdoum swept in and put pay to that. So again, it will be recalibrate and reload and rejig the entire team virtually ahead of monumental game, nothing less for Harry Neville. Very unlikely that the trigger will be pulled by the boss after that game if they do lose, given the belief in Neville, which is pretty unshakable. It looks like they'll wait until the end of the season by all accounts, no matter what. You know, how the fans will react in the end of this week, we will just have to wait and see. And of course, as you said, the big games coming up in the European Champions League against a very beatable Rapid Vienna. With all due respect, it's a good side and they will make that tough.
Out wide for Camara, sneaks it in, but behind the run, trying to steal it away, Munir. Nahibo finally gets it out of danger. Piatti with the touch, chests it through, and a chance with a burst of speed from the ex-Estudiantes man. Danilo across to the middle, but needed more on it.
Cannot honestly conceive, even given the amazing patience that Mr. Lim is showing his appointed coach, that this crowd will accept anything else other than wins against Espanyol and Rapid Vienna. If he doesn't get them, Phil, you would really expect them to be hindered in a position where his position may just become untenable.
Again, do you change coaches twice? But it's not often you have a club legend like Rafa Benitez out there.
Absolutely.
Bartra lays it across. Final 30 seconds approach. The Barca kids appear to be quite content with a 1-1 draw. Unbeaten streak stays alive. Nice little touch from Douglas, who had a nice ball in for the Kaptoum goal from that left flank. Not so nice this time. Well read by Diallo. Tamper checking the mirrors. Kaptoum, maybe with that Eto background, trying to convert him a bit. Are looking for a more consistent backup to Suarez. His goal, the first in his Barcelona career, able to salvage a draw. It's 1-1 of the day in Valencia. 8-1 on aggregate. Barcelona advances to the Copa del Rey final, and Valencia exits even with a small crowd with whistles in their ears.
Well, there's a good look and a good-looking kid. Wilfried Maptoum comes to the rescue of Barcelona and draws this game square just when it looked like Valencia were going to have something to really celebrate, at least in an obtuse way. But it wasn't to be, and ex-teammates having a laugh. But we will see what happens in this stadium on Saturday. But it's Maptoum's night, keeps the streak going for Barcelona. And into the final.